Hey, good morning. Corey here. Came across a reading earlier this week that I wanted to talk about today, and it had to do with titles and positions, specifically in leadership type of roles. And I just want to read something here. What I'm reading, it says, "Your title doesn't make you a leader. These are 6 of the things that do." And it lists here your vision, your integrity, your actions, your empathy, your communication, your accountability. And I think that's good. I think there's maybe a few more things that could go along with that. But what I wanted to talk about is some experiences I've had over my years in my career, but not just for work. I mean, it could be in your life or in my personal life or anything like that. And I want to start off because the title of this episode or the title of this talk you're going to see is called "Titles Don't Mean Shit." So before I get into that, I just wanted to say that certainly titles, positions, things like that, there is importance to them. There is good things about them. There is a need for them to a certain extent. Also, for what I'm talking about today, I've said it before, I can only talk about my experiences. I'm not going to talk about something I studied or somebody else's experience. It's just my experiences. So specifically for today, this has to do with leadership roles within a business environment. So that's where I'm coming from. And like I said, before I get into it, a position, a title, those things, certainly there's a place for them on an organizational chart. It's important to know who does what at a company or a factory or whatever your line of work is. Who's responsible for what does that mean? Certainly if you're meeting new people or working with new partners within the business, and certainly as a young person, or I shouldn't say young, but anybody young in a business or young in the business, looking to advance in their career, and along with positions come titles, and along with positions that so-called climbing the ladder. And certainly for me over my career, there's been work and goals that I've had to get to different rungs on that ladder and to get to different positions. So I don't want to take away from any of that. Hopefully I've made that stuff clear. But what I want to talk about is roles and positions that have titles, specifically that are leadership type positions. And what I mean by that is that a position where you have direct reports, you have people directly reporting into you that you influence and that you are responsible for. You're responsible for a team. That's where I'm coming from, and that's what my experiences have been. And really what wanted me to get to talk about this a little bit this week is not only that reading, but I've seen some other things on social media come up. I've had some so-called memories that you get from your Facebook account, and different images and quotes that I've come across, and then some real life experiences, some things people have said, and some things that I've experienced over the course of many years, but also recently. So when I think about a position that has a title, and I'm just going to talk about, to me, a title really isn't that important. So, a couple minutes ago, I mentioned the good things about a title and a position and all that. So keep that in mind. But at this point in my career and in my life, a title doesn't really mean anything other than it links to a position, which if it's a new partner that I'm working with, or something like that, on an organizational chart, certainly, or as the company grows, it's beneficial in that way. So I know who's doing what, who's responsible for what. But when it comes to talking with a person or trying to understand somebody's role, your title really doesn't mean shit to me. My title doesn't really mean shit to me at this point. It's more about what do you do. So I can be in an introduction meeting for whatever, and I'm so-and-so, this is my title, and the first thing I'm going to ask is, well, what do you do? And if you can't tell me what you do, that's an example where, your title doesn't mean shit to me if you can't tell me what you do. And if I can't tell you what I do, same goes for me. I have to hold myself accountable too. So I much prefer during introductions or things like that to just, hey, this is who I am and this is what I do and this is my role here and who I work with, and I get a lot more out of that. So I am a little critical of the standard business type of discussions and protocol and verbiage and talking big about company business and all that kind of stuff. That's just how I am. So specifically, when somebody can't back up their title or their position, and again, this is leadership roles, so that's really what can get under my skin a little bit. I think it's very important that if we're in a position within anything in our life, and this isn't just business, even though that's kind of where I'm coming from, but it can be our role within our family, it can be our role within our community or our peers or other groups or interests that we have in our life. I have to be able to back up what that title is that I have. I have to be able to live and work and breathe and do what that position requires of me to have that title and earn it. And I know a lot of people, so back to what I read here. Here are 6 things that make a good leader, and that really your title doesn't matter. I know people that have all of those, and they're great leaders. And these are people I know. These are everyday people that I know in our business, that I know in my personal life, and some other things that I'm involved with. And they have all those things to a certain degree, and they would all tell you, same as I would, that we're not perfect and we never will be, but we continue to work on those things and we continue to learn and we continue to get better. And for people like that, wherever they're at in their journey, whether it's personal life or career, that understand that there's a responsibility and accountability, that there's really an earning of that position and of the respect of maybe your peers or certainly the people that are reporting to you, that all has to be earned, and that takes a lot of work, and that needs to be taken seriously. Those kind of people are awesome, and I know people like that. I know leaders like that. I don't know that I'm that great at all those things. I just try, but I know people like that, and for any of you out there that are like that, or people that are like that, and people maybe that keep doing that, and pass it on. Train up that new person that might be coming along, looking at a leadership type role, and share what you know and keep working at it. And I really appreciate people like that. There's a humility that comes with that. But anyway, and then I see people so there's kind of like 3 types of people I see that relate to this for me. That's one, those kind of leaders, those great people. Then there's people that are coming up through an organization, whatever it may be, whatever kind of organization, and they're coming up through it, and they're learning and they're growing and they're experiencing things, and they're maybe aspiring to get to a certain position within a company or a certain position on a team or whatever it might be. And certainly understand that you're going to have to work hard and you're going to have to earn respect, and understand what that title means and understand what comes with it. Understand that position. What are the requirements of this position, not only on paper or for a business or company specific or team specific, what comes with it, but what comes with it on the people side of things. Because in most things in life, we work with people, and that can be the most difficult of things to work with is people, and can also be the greatest of things to work with is people. So for those that are on that part of their journey where they're growing and working towards something, and maybe there's somebody that they admire and they want to get into that position, just keep that in mind. And then for those, and I'm thankful to God that I don't know many of these people, but I do know some of these people, and this is where I can get a little bit aggravated at people that have a mindset that they're entitled to respect, they're entitled to success, they're entitled to whatever just because they have a title that goes with their position. I've literally heard people say and question when they're challenged or when they're not happy with something, don't you know who I am? Don't you know what my title is? And for those kind of people, especially when they're in a leadership type role, and especially when they're at a point in their career where they should be better than they are, or they shouldn't be in the position, specifically for those kind of people, yeah, I do know who you are, and yeah, you can shove your title up your ass, because your title doesn't mean shit to me, and your title doesn't mean shit to anybody else if you don't understand that you need to earn respect, you need to earn success. You need to understand that whatever your position or title is, you are only as good as the ones around you. You are only as good as the team you're working with. You need to have some humility. And what really sets me off about people like this is, especially, again, they have people that report to them. I've seen where really good people get mistreated, get burned out, and end up leaving their situation. Again, whatever it may be in their life or career, organization, whatever it may be, simply because of a bad leader. And I'm sure you've seen and heard, and there's probably thousands of different statements about bad leaders, and that's why people leave companies and places of work and all this kind of stuff, relationships, everything. So again, what you hear from me is me simply speaking about what I'm thinking about. This is what I'm thinking about this week. There's been a few things that have come up that have made it obvious to me that, well, shit, I ought to talk about this. And it's just me sitting in my pickup, hitting play on this phone. Everything is just raw and unfiltered. And sometimes when I come on these, it might be after a 10 or 12 hour day, and it might be at night, or it might be in the morning, or it might be when I have a headache. And as this grows, who knows what'll come of it. But for today, I think the message is important. And before I publish this, I will watch it and see if I got my point across. So as with anything, if you get anything out of this, if there's something you want to share, like it, share it, subscribe to the channel if you haven't already. That's how these things grow. I don't know what's going to come of it. I'm just sharing things is all I'm doing. So to make sure I get my point across, when it comes to positions and titles, specifically when you're in a leadership role and people report to you and count on you, specifically for that today, if you're in that kind of position and you understand these characteristics that go along with it, and you're humble and you have a good team around you, and you're working on yourself and you're working on your team, and you understand these things, thank you for that, whatever you do, whether it's in business or in life or whatever it is. Thank you for being that way. If you're somebody that's coming up in whatever you're doing in your life and learning, and there's things you're aspiring to be and goals you have and positions you want to get to and all that, that's great. Just keep that in mind, that you have to earn it. Earn the respect of your people. There's so many times I've seen where when someone new comes into an organization, and it could be at any point in their career, at any age, they may come in with a ton of experience. And if they have some humility, and if they're willing to learn some new things, and if they understand they're part of a team, and they're not any better than anyone else regardless of their title or their position, those people, from my experience, do well. But when people come in with an ego, and people come in and they just think they know it all, and they take 10 minutes to introduce themselves at a board meeting, or an introduction meeting, I should say, well, tell me what you do. I don't give a shit about your title. And then again, going along with the point I'm trying to make, for those people that don't understand this, they either need to learn it, or they need to get out of that position, or they need to be released from that position. There's nothing more dangerous than that to me on a team, when you have someone in a position that solely relies on their title and can't back it up. And again, if you know someone like that, I certainly know some people like that. Thank God not a lot of them, but yeah, their title doesn't mean shit to me. So for whatever that's worth, take care.